Hey y'all, it's Vicky and welcome to another video. So it's Friday, happy Friday, and it's, what today is today? August 1st. Happy August, welcome to August. And it is 7:59, it is 72 degrees, 93% humidity. And my hair is, you know, if I didn't comment, when I first put it down, took down my hair this morning, because you know I always wear it up, I mean it was out to here. So anyway, just the way it is this time of year, not much you can do. The only way I could get it, well, even if I went and had a blowout from a professional, it would probably, the next day it would be out to here. So I'd be wasting my time and money. Okay, we're going to talk about Tim just a little bit, and then we're going to talk about some of my blood work that I've got back, and we'll go from there. Okay? Okay, I like to talk about Tim. For anybody that's new here, I'm talking about Sarasota Tim. I like to talk about him because it's just something I like to do. When I first started watching him, I found him entertaining. And I know, like most of you all know this, but I seem to have to repeat it because either I welcome anybody new, but you have to know in my titles that it's going to be talking about Sarasota Tim. Most of the time it's not good, but every once in a while I might say something nice about him. Not that I think he deserves it, because he don't, but just because that's just the way I am. Anyway, so Sarasota Tim is, you know, living down there in Bradenton, Sarasota, whatever, and in his, I wanted to say wolf pup, in his Flagstaff camper. And, you know, he thinks it's the greatest thing on earth to be living in a camper. But yet he keeps riding around looking at houses and, you know, all that good stuff. And what gets me is he goes and looks at the houses in neighborhoods that he could not afford. And I think it's because he wants to, he's trying to reach a certain demographic, I guess. He's almost to the point that I think he's copying Southern Life. He's trying to go the opposite of Southern Life, though, because Southern Life concentrates more on the disadvantaged, you know, people that are not rolling in money like Tim wants to be. So Tim concentrates on the ritzy neighborhoods. I thought you didn't copy people, Timmy. All right. The first video from yesterday, this is about yesterday. He goes to Scooter's Coffee, and he claims that they have a new discount policy, and it's all because of Tim. And they now offer a 10% discount to seniors, first responders, doctors, and teachers. And he now gets his dollar coffee for 90 cents. Wow. Wow. That's just fantastic. Congratulations, Tim. Then in another video, he talks about his early morning routine, including his coffee, weighing himself. Now, what did I tell him? Quit weighing yourself every day. And then he talks about his experience on the carnivore diet. And claims he's been feeling body aches. Well, I think the body aches is maybe coming from weather related, because I know they're having some turbulent weather at times down there. And when I say turbulent, I mean it's hot one minute, then it's pouring down rain, and I mean that can't help but affect your joints. I don't care what you're doing. The older you get, that type of weather is going to affect your joints. And then he talked about, he's all the time talking about old days. Well, now he's talking about defunct burger joints. And, you know, White Castle, Burger Chef. Well, White Castle's still around in certain areas, so it's still around. Okay, then he supposedly went to, and y'all can tell I took this from notes, from AI. And he's sharing his outdoor workout routine at Nathan Benderson Park. And we call it Nathan Bendover Park, which includes sprints and burpees, emphasizing that outdoor exercise is more challenging than gym workouts. I disagree. You can make your indoor workouts just as challenging as you can outside workouts. It just depends. Now, obviously, he cannot do burpees or the mountain climbers and stuff in his camper. He doesn't have enough room to do them. So he has to go to the gym, or he has to do them outside. He can do those at the gym. It's no big deal. You find a place, you do it. I don't get it. And then it's air conditioning in there. For a 66-year-old man to be doing this in humid weather, that is just beyond me. And he's obviously, from his talking and telling us, has some issues with his heart. So, duh. All right. So he introduces Casey to the channel, and he uses the park stairs for rehabilitation after double hip replacement surgery at age 48. So, Timmy, why don't you use the steps more? And I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying this is Tim. He has claimed so many times he's walked up them steps at that park. And now he's telling Casey he only did it one time. So how many times was it, Tim? All right. Then he's at the UTC mall. He's talking about Tim's, opinion on parents and with multiple young children. He's expressing his admiration for their effort and financial demands of raising a family, which he had all that, but did he do anything about it? It doesn't look like it from what we've seen. So, from what we can see and find out about him, Tim never supported his children. I'm not going to say he didn't for, maybe a year or two, but I'm talking about their entire life. And supposedly to some of the fact checkers, one of his sons has a restraining order against him, allegedly. I have no idea if that's true, but it's alleged. Okay, then that video, keeps talking about the neighborhood, so then he goes to that video. There goes my voice. And he's riding around in those neighborhoods that I told you about. Now, I did some looking at those neighborhoods. Most all the houses are over 500,000. I'd say most of them are 600,000 to 700,000. There were some he didn't like. But what got me was that he didn't really ride around in them. He just turned into the driveway and then come back. I know some of them had gates, but some of them didn't. Why didn't he ride all the way through? What's going on? To me, if you're going to ride through the neighborhood, ride through it. Of course, I know there's cameras, but so what if there's cameras? Unless he goes in there every day and does that, I don't think nothing's going to be said. What do I know? Okay, then last night he fixed a steak, a New York strip. Evidently, he's been taking some cooking lessons from, he said that somebody he'd been talking to was trying to teach him how to make a steak that was good. And so that's what he looked like he done. I don't know why he makes it so hard to cook a steak. Well, first of all, when he talks about steaks being chewy, he never cuts his steak up in enough pieces. He tries to put too big of cuts in his mouth, and that's why he has such a hard time chewing. Just putting it out there. So anyway, we're going to move on from that, from Timmy. And, the question, and of course everybody's like, well, what's going on with Tammy? Who knows? We can speculate all day, but until we have some proof of what's going on, and of course I don't live down there, I'm not going to be nosy, and I'm not going to ask anybody that I know that lives down there to go find out if Tammy's around. Like I say, I'm sure somebody will come up with something. If she's around, we will know. I don't think she's around right now. Or he's doing a good job of hiding it. But he will take spells that he's not filming much, so that tells me. Okay, for the month of July, I think it was probably his worst month since the Social Security video went viral. Yesterday I looked, and I think he only had like maybe 11K views on the original Social Security video. So that's dropped quite a bit from what he was doing. We'll see if it picks back up in November, because usually those videos may pick back up when it gets toward the end of the year. Okay, my blood work. Okay, I went on Wednesday to get some blood work done. Last time I went to my primary care, she didn't really do anything but check my A1C, and I wanted everything checked because you know, I'm not doing carnivore, but I'm doing meat-based, and I wanted to get a true reading on my cholesterol and everything before I got any further. So I've made an appointment, and so I have my cholesterol readings. Now, for 2 solid weeks now, I've been on meat-based, and when I say meat-based, I am eating 95% meat. I may sneak in a little green salad every now and then. Like I said last week, I had a bite of pasta. And have I had anything else? I will have a cracker in the morning to take my meds with. It's a saltine cracker. So that's all I'm saying that I'm eating. As far as everything else has been either beef or chicken. I'm not a fish eater, and that's what I do, is eat beef or chicken. Most of it, I mean, all this week it's been beef. It's been ribeye steak as far as my main meal, with nothing with it. Now, last night, I admit, I was hungry. And I don't know that I was hungry. It was more the fact that I was missing something. And I mean, I know you go through that when you start trying to do this. And I have to find something else to do. So I went on TikTok. I got up and I walked around. I could have piddled and done some work, but I didn't do that. You know, petted the cat for a while, talked to him, you know, just stuff like that. There wasn't, Blind Views didn't do a live because he's having a medical procedure done today, and I hope he does well. And, you know, it's just, I was just bored a little bit. Anyway, and I was trying to, and I was watching TV, and every time I would watch, if I watch regular TV, all I notice is food commercials. I don't want to see them. So anyway, okay, my total cholesterol is 167. My triglycerides, 119. My HDL, 58. My VLDL is 21. Now, the VLDL is new to me. LDL is 88. The T cholesterol HDL ratio, and this is the first time that I remember them ever running this on me, is 2.9. And I have all, where it says abnormal, it says all normal. And, you know, I'll show it to y'all, plus I'll try to insert a picture, so you know I'm not lying. Now, yet, no, I did not put my name on here, because I don't want y'all seeing my name and all that good stuff, my birth date and all that. I know that's doxing people, and that's wrong. I don't dox people, and I'm not going to dox myself. Anyway, so I'm happy with that. Now, I would like to get the HDL maybe just a little higher, and I definitely don't want my LDL to get any higher. But we'll know in 90 days, because I'm getting this done again in 90 days. Now, I am going Tuesday, back to see the nurse practitioner to talk about my blood work. Now, the one I didn't show you was the A1C. My A1C was the highest it's ever been. It was 6.7. And, you know, your A1C goes back, and I can tell you a month ago, I was in, you know, every weekend I was having rice from the Japanese restaurant. I was having baked potatoes. I was having cookies. You know, so that doesn't surprise me at all. So Tuesday, I made sure to watch my sugar and make sure that I ate right. But I admit, on Tuesday night, I had several crackers. So, and that wouldn't have anything to do with A1C. My glucose was 102. And that was a 12-hour fasting. So that's higher than I want it to be. I know in the scheme of things, I want it under 99. But, and some people will say, well, that could have been the crackers. Yeah, it could have been. But that means my body is not, you know, I have too much cortisol or whatever. So I'm not processing insulin the correct way. So should I go on something for a few months? I don't know. I'll wait and see what they say. You know, that's why I say we may just do it, check it in 90 days and see where we go from there. I think I don't need anything, but if she says I need something mild, then I'll go ahead and do it. But I am going to try to not take anything unless she just thinks that I really need to. Because I do think I can control it with diet, but I've got to keep on the eating plan that I'm doing. Now, yesterday, I saw where people saying that, you know, when you start watching the internet and you see all these, you go to these message boards and stuff, you hear, I watch Carnivore Quest, I think is his name, and people's putting his comments that people who continuously go off and then come back on to carnivore, that their blood sugar is not leveling off. It's not coming down. So I don't know if I'm one of those people. We'll see. There was a couple of things that were abnormal. They kind of insinuated, I don't remember exactly what the tests are called, but when you look them up, it kind of insinuates I'm dehydrated. I'm not surprised. Some days I drink my water great and some days I don't. It's hot. You know, that doesn't surprise me. So I've got to get my water in. I know that. So, but other than that, I'm fine. As far as I can tell. I think there's 2 more tests still to come in. Those have to do with hormones. So we'll see what they say. So I got to go to work. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I'll talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye.
Jump into the car on a Friday night. I wanna drive with you.